Thanks for taking the time to check out the Big Joe Stompbox Power Board Isolated Power Series. And what the deal is with these, this entire platform here is a battery that sits in this frame that you put your pedals right on top of. This is the iSO6x.
I get 6. It has 6 ports. What does X mean?
So the X denotes this expansion port, which is an additional 1,000 milliamps. So if you want to go to some sort of modeler that's a big power pig, the HX Stomp, we've hooked up the Kemper, is that called the Player 1?
Is that what they call that one?
The small guy?
The profiler?
The player, I believe.
The player?
Yeah, I think it's the player.
It'd probably run the little nano cortex.
Now we'll focus on these 6Xs, because that's what all three of these are here. And Barry and Eric did a longer video. This is essentially Barry's board, so if you guys want to check out that video where they go more in depth with that, you can. And basically, this board has more digitally hungry pedals, milliamp wise and things. So Barry, let's flick that on and go to the screen and just kind of show.
So it's booting up.
Checking the outputs.
So 11.2 hours. Status, right? To change the
status, yes, we'll
so 88%. I status A, so that must be for block A, right?
It is, that's correct.
So block A is using 3.5 watts or almost 400 milliamps. And on block A are these 3 things. So these 3 things together draw 3.5 watts.
Okay.
And then status B, same thing for this block. And that's going to be these 3 things. And there's one open here. And then expansion, right?
Expansion, yes. Which you have
that's actually
powering.
Yeah, so I misspoke. Block A is just these 2. Block C is being entirely wasted. That 1,000 milliamps, 1 amp is just giving 21 milliamps to this little box here.
Oh,
yeah. So
this will be very fine.
Yes, it's just cruising. Got room to grow there. So yeah, so I think that's really cool to have, if only to just kind of let you know that this is 750 milliamps max
per block. Yeah, so block A and B.
So this has got 2 sort of heavy cats on it, relatively. I mean, it's not like a quad cortex or anything like that, but as far as pedals go, these are higher wattage. And I'm using just barely, half of what this bank will supply. And these are both isolated, right?
Correct.
So these 2 things are not. They're galvanically isolated. They don't share a ground path through their power. So that's great. And so this has been a pretty quiet setup. I just put this together to kind of as part of stress testing these things, which we do with everything that kind of comes in. Before we start using it with other folks, is trying to figure out where the edges are, and is it going to fall on its face? What can it do? What can it do? It's kind of important to know that before we send it out with somebody.
Sure.
It's a much easier conversation to have before they pay their invoice than after they pay their invoice.
Do you remember when you were putting your board together, did you have to do much juggling of finding which pedals were going to play nice with each other? As far as using your blocks, did you kind of just plug in stuff that was close and it worked out, or did you have to do any thinking of the milliamps per block?
With these, I felt like I was kind of close enough conceptually, kind of knowing what each one drew, that it would be underneath the 750. The good news with this software setup is that I can go through and double check whether my assumptions were correct or not. So I assumed, given these outputs and their size, that I'll probably be fine. But a lot of times you do that with the power supply and it'll power up, and you assume because the red lights came on, oh, this is good to go. And then in 18 months, it's dead because you were really pushing it the whole time. and inside the box it was sort of screaming at you, please stop, and you didn't, and so it died. Whereas this, because there's so much more smarts built into it, you can actually go and check, am I doing something dumb? And then in some cases, because to test this, I completely soaked the power and sometimes over soaked it, and it would tell you that's too much. But that was like 750 mils, like loading the whole thing down, and it's saying you're drawing too much, I'm going to shut it down. So in some ways this will keep you from being dumb.
Gotcha. And that's one of the things I like about these is it's kind of my meter, my power supply, my board, my, it's a way to check all of these
if
kinds
you're an
of things.
experimenter who likes to like swap stuff out and you have a concern of is this kosher, is this cool or not, you can check it and see. I think that's pretty cool. And so no, there was no issues here. I was like, I know that's super light, these two are kind of heavy. I didn't really know what this one was, but it has batteries in it. Yeah. So it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I believe that's 9 volts and 500 mils, if I remember.
That's probably what it's rated at. I doubt it. In fact, I could tell you.
Maybe let's test it.
On block B, that's these three boxes. This
three?
one's these three: Halo,
the
Pod Express, and this one's not drawing any power because there's nothing in the input jack. So these two together are 255, which means that this has to be less than that.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'd guess these are probably both. I would guess this is probably split between the two of them fairly equal. I mean, we could test it, power down.
Something I've been asked
so
before.
This is drawing less than 100 mils.
Gotcha. Because you just unplugged one of those in the block.
Halo,
yeah, so
right?
you can instantly see.
Yeah, so I plugged the Halo back in. Now I'm unplugging that. That's 162. 162 plus 90 is around 250, 260.
So is there any consideration that people need to make as far as milliamp draw by patch or by effect with these multi-effects units or things with screens? If you go to patch 4 and it's, using a ton more of the processing, does that change anything with milliamps and draw?
Usually not, because as far as electronics go, you have an overhead, right? I have a DSP that I need to keep running at X amount of power. So sometimes with the Eventide stuff, it seems like they'll deactivate maybe cores or something, depending if an algorithm, because you will see some, maybe like a 5% increase in draw based on if I put some super heavy patch on. So if you're normally, it's like if you turn your computer on, and like let's say you're not doing gaming or anything that takes like a GPU or something like, the computer is going to draw the same amount of power, whether it's sitting there running a screensaver or you're running spreadsheets or something like that. It doesn't necessarily scale. Now laptops are something different, but in general, there's an overhead just to have the pedal on.
Gotcha.
And that usually encompasses most of the power. So per algorithm or per program that the DSP is running, there might be some swing, but it ain't going to be double.
Gotcha. So just as people are building their pedal boards and making these kinds of considerations, those kinds of questions are things that might come up when they're trying to figure out how much voltage are they needing for a certain pedal and how many milliamps and all of that sort of stuff.
And you can, with a setup like this, you can test it.
Yeah, you can see it right away on that screen in the top left. So we have some very power consumptive stuff on this board. Barry, if you could fire this one up. This is kind of, I think it would be fair to say, the more kind of traditional Nashville board, tuner, a couple stages of drive. So we'll fire this up, and just for something that is more low consumption, Barry, if you can just flick through the status.
Yeah, well, you can see already it's 86 hours, quite a bit longer.
And how charged are we? So 95% charged. So that's, and this is showing the blocks again.
That's pretty light.
And what you're pulling.
So both of those blocks were at less than half a watt.
Yeah.
So this is obviously much more traditional, no DSP stuff on it. So the draw is just way less.
Yeah.
You could probably charge that up once and run it all month almost.
Yeah, so 85, 86 hours. So if you have some pedals that are kind of more in the analog realm, you can get quite a a lot of hours out of these.
Yeah, I mean, if it would scale, if all you had, or this is a good example of something that's fairly light. So I would say that that's probably kind of the top end. You could stack a whole bunch of stuff on this and get probably your output time your max output time in the 10-hour range, but it's inverse. I can either have light load for a long time or a heavy load for a shorter time. There's so much power here, though. Here, I mean, that was at 88% and still 11 hours. For me, for my use case, how I'd be using this at the house, that's charging it is probably a once every 2 weeks thing.
Something we asked you to stress test these essentially, and you helped us with a really good idea of considering the person that they go to the gig, they didn't charge their board, and it's totally dead when they got there, and they have some pretty burly stuff, high mill drawing pedals. Something that you wanted to make sure that in the testing that this did was load it up with those kinds of burly pedals, totally dead, plug it into the wall that it would fire up quickly. Right?
And run in perpetuity.
Right.
I think that's the big concern, and sort of maybe if there's range anxiety, a battery, like what do I do if the battery runs out? Like, do I get caught or, whatever. It's the batteries in these aren't serviceable, so it's not like I can ditch the battery and put a fresh one in or whatever. And so, we work with a lot of professional people, and we're professionally afraid on their behalf all the time.
Yes.
Just like, well, what happens if the unlikely thing? So not only, I think, do these act as a battery powered board, it can just be wall powered at any point.
Like a traditional power board that we're all used to
then
using.
The battery thing is a total value add. So if I forget to charge this at the house and I think I'd like to play and it's dead because I haven't played in a month, then I can just plug it in and play, not plug it in and wait.
Yeah, plug it into the wall.
Yeah, just like with your laptop.
You're right.
If your laptop's dead, you're like, oh crap, I gotta go get the charger. You go get the charger, you plug it in, the laptop fires right up.
Right, yeah.
Your phone, it'll make you wait, 2 minutes because it doesn't want you to give it 30 seconds, then unplug it again and it die again.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, right after you plug it in, you get to use it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, I think, with what you guys have done here, that gets you more towards that same thing. It's your pedal board and you can unplug it. That makes more sense to me.
Gotcha. So if you guys want more information on these, you can go to BigJoeStompboxCompany.com and check out the Power Board series. And also be sure to check out the Power Box series, which are great modular little lithium power supplies that work with traditional pedal boards as well. We'll see you next time.